This is AfriFreedom Channel, your trusted voice for in-depth analysis and fearless truth from across the continent and beyond. Please note, the following content contains information and footage that may be sensitive to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. The views shared here are for educational and informational purposes only, intended to spark critical thought and civic awareness. We do not promote violence, hate, or misinformation. If you haven't already, kindly hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe to our channel. Your support empowers independent journalism and keeps the voice of the people alive. In what many are calling a moment of tragic irony and political theater, the Nigerian government has presented a microphone as part of its evidence in the trial against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. This bizarre development follows the circulation of a video where Kanu passionately stated, "My only weapon is my microphone and the courage Chakuma Ebayama gave me." Meant to affirm his commitment to nonviolent advocacy, the statement appears to have been taken literally by the state, highlighting the deep ideological divide between power and peaceful resistance. This move raises critical questions. Is free speech now treated as a crime in Nigeria? Is the judiciary being used to silence opposition voices rather than uphold justice?
On or around December of 2015, I am a Biafran and I hold British citizenship. Only upon a clear pronouncement of the intentions of that very court, which I suggest to them, should be free of any interference from the executive, will this very case move forward. The circumstances surrounding the invasion of my house, the invasion of the home of His Royal Majesty, is Israel Okukan. You must know that my father's name is Israel, and it means a lot. Going forward, there must be guarantees by the international community so that this case can proceed, and I will prove once and for all that there is something fundamentally wrong with the brain of those that run Nigeria, because I will demolish them in a court of law. For now, let me restate my position that I committed no offenses known to law. What they are charging me with doesn't exist, and they know it. I have no weapon. My only weapon is a microphone, and my courage that you took Kabiama gave me. But it's up to those who persecute me to see reason to call their troops home. Let me state also categorically that IPOB worldwide is committed to the liberation of the land of Biafra from the shackles of tyranny. And we will not relent until a referendum is conducted. If you want us to do anything with you, if you want us to conduct any form of participation in whatever it is that you're doing, there must be a referendum to decide the quest for self-determination for Biafrans. That is our red line. It is not negotiable.
While microphones are being paraded as weapons of insurrection, Nigeria faces a far deadlier and seemingly ignored reality. In a chilling development, the Islamic State, ISIS, has confirmed its presence in northern Nigeria. According to official ISIS media, its fighters attacked a Christian community in Borno State, killing at least 20 worshippers during a morning ceremony. Homes were burned. A church was destroyed. The footage released is both graphic and heartbreaking, revealing a grave failure of national security. This incident highlights Nigeria's growing sectarian crisis and prompts serious concern over the government's priorities. Why does
Africa? Reports say at least 26 people were killed when a truck drove over a roadside bomb in northeastern Nigeria near the Cameroonian border. The incident happened in Borno State, which has been suffering from a jihadist uprising associated with the terrorist group Boko Haram. We'll certainly bring you updates as they unfold.
The state seem more focused on political suppression than confronting real terrorism. Where is the swift response, the urgency, the willpower, when the perpetrators are openly murdering civilians and claiming responsibility? Amid this deepening insecurity, Senate President Godswill Akpabio has stirred nationwide outrage with a statement made during Pope Francis' funeral in Rome. Poverty is not a crime, he said, and can sometimes be considered a virtue. In a nation where over 133 million people live in multidimensional poverty, such a comment appears painfully disconnected from reality. Coming from one of the most powerful individuals in Nigeria, it strikes many as tone-deaf and insensitive, the dangerous romanticization of suffering that sidesteps government accountability. Is this a subtle attempt to excuse decades of economic failure, or just another rhetorical diversion from real issues? So,
as a man today, the Pope, who was worth only $100, showing that yes, we cannot worship God in splendor, and that the best way to worship God is to worship God through self-sacrifice for all that. So the message is very clear that Nigerians should love one another, and that poverty is not a crime, and that poverty could sometimes be a virtue of God, and that whatever you have, you should be able to share with your brothers and sisters.
Of what the Senate President was saying, I believe he was talking about the Christian virtue of not being covetous or looking at somebody else's property and longing for your own, being content with what you have. But in a situation where we're in a country that ideally, if people had what they needed, their basic Maslow hierarchy of needs, the basic things that they need to survive, then they can decide to choose whether or not they want to give it out or they want to live a more modest life. But we're in a situation where the people here do not have a choice. They're forced to live a lot of times in abject poverty. In that case, is it truly a virtue then?
Okay, two things. Context that you talked about. The Senate President, Godswill Akpabio.
What do these stories reveal? They show us a country struggling with painful contradictions, a government that criminalizes speech, fails to act against proven threats, and reframes suffering as something noble. At AfriFreedom Channel, we ask the hard questions, because the people deserve answers. It's time to demand transparency, justice, and above all, humanity from those in power. Thank you for watching. Please like this video, share it with your network, then subscribe to AfriFreedom Channel for more fearless reports and uncompromising truth. Stay informed. Stay aware. Stay free.